take my shoes off and get comfortable because I've been doing this for quite some time, as you can see. I am currently filming my 100th episode for In Our Lane podcast. I want to thank each and every viewer or listener, supporter. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you that has been along this journey. Even if you have, known me whether it was personally or just from social media, I just want to thank you so much because y'all are the reason why I keep doing this. And y'all gonna hear later in the episode me just talk more about the struggle that I've been going through with this podcast and whether or not I really felt like I should keep going. And so it's because of the people who come up to me in person and constantly remind me that they are listening, that they are paying attention, and that they hear me. And I think simply because I don't really see, it being broadcasted on like a grand scheme of things, that's kind of why I kind of struggle with that, where I feel like, am I doing enough? Like, is this something that I should continue? Am I wasting my time? Is this something that God wants me to do? Or is this something that I want for myself? And so I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But I am Emmeisha. If this is your first time watching, you can follow me everywhere at EMMEISHA. And please follow the podcast on Instagram at _ in our lane. If you're watching right now on YouTube, you already know you can find me at Emmeisha TV. And I post a little bit on TikTok here and there. I'm not really consistent on it. Like, only place that I'm really consistent is on Instagram. And that's just because all these platforms are just too much for me. Like, it's just too much. It's just too much. So Instagram is the best place to stay up to date with everything that I have going on with the podcast. And as of lately, I haven't been posting clips or anything. It's a lot of editing that goes into that. And I feel like during the summertime was when I wasn't really working, because school is out. So it was easy for me to get clips for y'all and everything, but I do everything by myself. Like, I'm still a one-woman show. I've started, going on live before I record, and that has been good. I like that. I'm gonna start doing that a little bit more just to be a little bit more active. But if you know me, then you know, like, I'm not really like into the social media thing anymore. Like, it's become a job for me, and I just feel like it's not really, that part of it is not really fun. Like, I like this where I get to come on here and share and talk and express myself. And I feel like I want to do more of that and less of like the behind the scenes, like actually like editing stuff. It's like, I know how to do those things. I'm trained to do those things. I'm skilled to do those things, but I don't necessarily find joy in doing that part of the job. And so that part of the job is what makes it so draining, because that's what takes most of the time. And so I'm working diligently to stay afloat and eventually get the podcast to the point where I have a team and everything. And if you've been watching, I constantly say this, but I'm really manifesting that in my life. I'm really manifesting taking this to the next level, to the point where I can just be me and focus on that part of it and live my life a little bit more, and not being behind the camera and behind the computer, spending hours editing and footage and all that good stuff. So I'm figuring it out. I'm working it out. And when the time comes, that will happen. But right now, I feel like I'm doing great. And I just can't wait to see what the next 100 episodes will look like. Because if you started from episode 1 to now, I have definitely taken my podcast to the next level. So now I'm just trying to figure out, okay, so now that I've gotten to this point, what's next for me here in this space? Because this is an investment. I take care, like I said, I take care of everything myself, and it's not cheap, y'all. And so, yeah, on top of all of the things that I'm trying to do in my personal life and saving and all that good stuff, it's just a lot on one person. So, yeah, with that being said, let's just get into the show because I really went on a little tangent. But yeah, I wanted to just, for the topic of the day, I really just wanted to take a trip down memory lane and just think back on like when I first created my YouTube channel and I was doing makeup tutorials and hair tutorials, and in those makeup tutorials and health tutorials, I was talking and I was engaging with my audience. And that's the part that I loved the most, was the talking. And so that's when I transitioned over to the podcast realm, where I'm not doing the whole makeup and hair on camera, but I am continuing the conversation and just sharing my thoughts and experiences. And I created this space also to bring other people on to showcase them in their lane, doing their thing. And I really want to get back to inviting guests on the show. It's just that's a whole nother ball game with scheduling and everything, because my schedule right now, since school is back in session, is very, very tight. So like this week is fall break. So if I had guests, it would have been a little bit more flexible to get somebody in one of these days. But I didn't, because I just didn't feel like even that headache. And I just wanted to just come on here and talk to y'all a little bit more about me personally before I start changing the focus to be on my guests. Because when I have guests, yeah, I'm getting personal and I'm talking and having a conversation, but it's just not the same when I have solo episodes. So I'm just doing these last couple solo episodes before I try to start getting more guests on. But if I can't get no guests on there, it's just gonna be me as always. But yeah, so I really started off doing the hair and the makeup tutorials, and then I started selling hair and selling lashes, and I even worked in a hair salon at one point. Thought I was gonna be a hairstylist and all this good stuff. So just to see how all of that transition, because like let me just go back a little bit more. When I was in college and I first started my YouTube channel, that was my freshman year in college, and I had got my first brand deal, basically like my first brand ambassador thing. So it was with this hair company where I promote their product, I wear their hair, post my videos, and if people use my code, they'll get a discount, then I get paid based upon that, blah blah blah. I thought I was doing a thing, and then that's what led me to being like, okay, well, if I'm promoting this other business and they're making all of this money because of me, then I could just sell my own hair and start my own company. And that's when people may know me as the Elaine brand. And so if you remember about the Elaine brand era of my life, then you know me for real, because that was definitely an era of mine. And till this day, a bro of mine, he always addresses me as the brand. So love him. Hopefully I'll be able to go check out his comedy show tomorrow, Armani. So yeah, he always reminds me, like, you are the brand. Like, don't ever forget that. And I be forgetting that sometimes. I feel like imposter syndrome really be settling in, because it's like, I understand from the grand scheme of things how to other people, because I don't have, all these views, and like I don't have all these follows or whatever, that I haven't been putting in the work. And it's like, if I think I took everything down, but if everything was still up for y'all to really see where I came from till now, you would definitely see the growth. And if you was there during that time and you watched during that time, then and we here. But for everyone that's just now tuning in, you don't really see all of that. So it just seems like I'm just this girl who fell out of nowhere, you know. But it's what it is, what it is. And so, yeah, whenever I just look back at when I first started to really think about what I wanted my career to look like when I was a freshman in college, and to see where I am today, is my story has did a complete 180. I am now in a completely different field than I ever expected to be in, on top of still pursuing this part of my career. And I feel like this is going to bring me into let's talk about it. So I feel like I'm in this weird space right now where I feel like I have to choose between two loves. And I think that God is pushing me in the field of education, and he needs my hands on education in the United States of America. Like I feel like he wants me to be a voice in that realm. And that's why he geared me towards that, because I have the media side, the journalism side, like I have, all of that film and TV side, all of that training. I did all of that, right? And now he has put me in this field of education, and it's like I have this weird, I feel like he's going to tie it all together at some point. But I'm also in this place where I feel like I have to choose, because, being in the field of education, you got to be this cookie cut model type where you got to keep your personal life very personal. You can't really be vocal about certain things. You can't really talk a certain type of way. You can't dress a certain type of way. But that's how we are in our real lives. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I feel like I am going to be the bridge. And so I was watching Let's Try This Again with B Simone, and she had Crystal Renee on there, and they were talking about, in the field of, Christianity, they are like the bridge, to bring people who look like us, talk like us, walk like us, and live life like us, to God. And so I feel like for me as well, God is trying to use me in some type of way to bring people closer to him, and also shed light and help elevate and grow the education system. And I'm just trying to figure out how that's going to play out, because like I said, taking a trip down memory lane, when I first started this podcast, I was in my early 20s. Now I done reached over the hump. I'm in my later 20s now. Well, I'm still in my mid 20s. I ain't reached my late 20s yet, but I'm 26. So the things that I talked about when I was 21, 22, 23, I don't really feel as comfortable talking about no more. Like, I don't really feel like I'm not in that space anymore. And I just don't want something that I said when I was 21, 22, 23 to come up now when I have completely changed my life around. I don't talk the same. I don't move the same. And I don't feel like, me personally, I ever was raunchy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there are podcasts or there are platforms that are very raunchy, and it's a big difference between promoting that type of stuff and just sharing your personal experience. And I hope and I pray that if people ever come across something that I said when I was 21, 22, they don't look at me a certain type of way because I was talking about certain things that I wouldn't necessarily talk about in that way today. I feel like we definitely still need to have certain conversations, and I definitely will bring up certain topics if that's what I want to talk about, but I'm just not going to allow certain conversations to be as out there, I shall say. as I did before. And so, but like I was saying, like when I was 21, 22, 23, I was doing what 21, 22, 23 year olds were doing. I was talking about what we were going through at that time in our lives, like what was the thing, like what, my girls will talk about when I'm around my girls, or like what I see on social media, I was being a young lady in my early 20s, and I just hope that me being genuine and who I was at that time, it helps people, and people and their parents don't look at that as, oh, I don't want this type of person to be now in the classroom. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like as a teacher, as an educator, it's not just about the academic side of things. It's also about looking at the child as a whole. And I feel like we can't just be this cookie cutter version of what people think a teacher is. Like, we are people too. We go through things too. Like, it's y'all people be acting like because you have a certain title that you don't go through real life things. And I feel like that's just like how B. Simone and Crystal Renee was saying. It's just like y'all think because we're Christians or because we're teachers or whatever that we don't make mistakes or that we don't fall short sometimes. And I just hope that I can be that person to showcase that, we are human as well, and we go through things as well. And yeah, like I am a human. I went from being a child to being a teenager to being a young adult to now being a full grown woman, and I'm still navigating through that. So even the person that I am today at 26 is not going to be the same person that I'm going to be when I'm 36. So I just want people to, give me a little grace. I keep saying that. I love that. I feel like that is my word for this season. Grace and understanding that, I'm human too. And I feel like that will give me a little bit more, like, I can breathe and just be myself when I'm on camera and not feel like I gotta hide certain things, or that I can't talk about this, or that I have to, sugarcoat that, because if I really be real and really be authentic to who I am, then I could lose my job. And I feel like I shouldn't feel that way. I feel like I should be able to show up in both spaces and be free to be who I am. And I'm not gonna be on here, doing crazy stuff. But I also want people to understand that just like I keep it real with my students in my classroom, I'm gonna keep it real with people on this camera. And I don't ever want somebody to try to use me sharing my story, trying to connect with people and trying to, help people be seen. I don't want them to ever take it out of context and try to make me out to be something that I'm not. So that's what I'm working on. Yeah, because I had prayed and I had asked, and it's like God immediately answered my, like, so that's why I was telling y'all, if y'all listen, some prayers God answered immediately, like it's nothing. But some stuff, it takes me a little minute to hear him. But this prayer, I really was like, God, please help me find peace in what I'm doing, and to know that this is bigger than me, and this is something that you, oh, and this is something that you want me to be doing. This is something that is of your will. That's all I want. That's just all I want, is to make sure that I'm doing what God wants me to do. So yeah, places to go, things to do. I had went to Blue Cantina this past weekend, and when I tell you, I had a ball. I had a ball, y'all. Um, the food, I didn't really care too much. I just needed something to, help with the liquor. And um, so I had ordered wings and fries, simple, easy, and it's shareable. I love those type of things. So that's why I ordered it. Um, and the shots was coming. Next thing I know, it's a bottle on the table. So more shots was being poured. The vibes was vibing. Whoever the DJ was, he did a good job. And yeah, like it just, I be inside. Like y'all don't understand. Like I really be inside and I'm trying to get outside. So for this part of the show, I can have things to talk about. But I went outside for the first time in like since I went on my cruise. I think this is the first time that I really like being outside. Like I went and had drinks and was partying. Yeah, so since July and it's October. So I've been put up for a little minute. If I'm forgetting something, excuse me, but I want to say since July, I haven't really been outside for real because right after July, I went straight to work and I've been working. And when it's time to work, it's time to work. I don't really have time. I have like 12-hour days because not only am I a teacher, I'm a cheer coach as well. So with practice and games, then coming to the studio and editing and homework, I'm in school for my master's. After all of that, like whenever I have any extra time, I'm asleep or just laying down resting. I finally started going back to the gym, well, working out at home so that I can eventually lead to getting back to the gym. And after my to-do list and having all this stuff going on, I don't be having time to go nowhere. That's why this week I was like, okay, we on fall break. I'm finna be outside and I'm finna have a good time. And that I did. I had a great time. And I'm supposed to be meeting up with some people some more this weekend. So I'm going to close out fall break I started fall break on a good note. I'm going to end my fall break on a good note. And then I think we got another break, Thanksgiving break coming up. And then after that, we bringing in the new year. So I got a few more breaks coming up to help me woosah, and I'll, let y'all know what I did and share the spots. But yeah, Blue Cantina, if you in Atlanta, look it up and go have you a good time. Oh, that's what I also wanted to say about it before I move on. It's an older crowd too. We went to the one over there in Camp Creek, and it's not like 20, 21. It's not like 21, 22, 23 year olds up in there either. It's like definitely my age and up. So like around 20, I'm 26. So maybe I would say maybe 25 and up crowd. That's what it was giving. It was really giving 30 and up crowd, and we made it 25 and up crowd. But it might have been a few people up in there that was a little bit closer to our age too, but it wasn't too crowded. We had enough space to do what we needed to do. And I like stuff like that. I don't like going places where I feel cramped in a corner. I don't like places where if I walk in with a silk press and I walk out and my hair is blown out, I don't like that because that means it wasn't enough air circulating. That means we was all up on each other and we wasn't able to really dance and have a good time without, doing too much and sweating too much. I like that. That's my type of time. So yeah, that's all I want to say. So you might find your man out there. Never know. All right. So Emmeisha's playlist. So first I gotta take it to church because I really like this song. It is To Our God Trap Mix. I'm going to take this off of YouTube, so it's going to cut off and go straight to the next song for y'all because YouTube be playing. But those that are listening, here we go. I'm going to play a little snippet. Okay, so for YouTube, the words are we worship, we adore you. It's nobody like you. Oh my gosh, my God is so good, y'all. Yes. I wish I could play music on YouTube so y'all can watch me and listen to me jam out, but it's okay. It's whatever. Okay. Now let me get over to, my girls. They doing the thing. So is it the way, sweetie? This is my jam. Oh my gosh. I really like how she did this right here. I'm finna play this for y'all. Okay, so she said, is it the way that I walk? Is it the way that I talk? Is it the way I keep it G? Maybe it's the way I do me. Is it the way I keep it player? Is it the way I do my hair? Is it the thighs or the hips? Is it my vibe or the lips? Is it the way I handle business? Authentic with no gimmicks. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let me move on before I start doing too much. Okay, so all in all, Gloria Hallelujah released her album and it's titled Glorious. And this Memphis rapper did her thing, okay? Like from Hold On to Procedure with What You Know About Me, How I Look, I Love Her, Glow's Prayer. Let's get into Glow's Prayer for 1 second. Hello, dear God, it's me again. I want to come on and say, first of all, thank you for all your blessings and all your love and your favor you showed upon me. But Father, speaking of favors, I need another favor from you. And I know I've come to you many times about this, and I don't even like holding up the prayer line about things like this, but I need your help and your guidance on how to leave this man alone. Y'all. I just feel like the girls be knowing what the girls going through and they always pull through with the record because I swear, like, I don't know what is going on. I just think I just need to just wipe it all clean, start over from fresh, and I just need some time to just work on myself and not be worrying about it. And if, I'm just when I'm not paying, I'm not even worried about that. I'm just moving on to I don't know, y'all. I don't know when it comes down to this love thing. I just don't know what I'm missing. Like I just need to focus on me, become a better version of me. And then once I continue on loving myself, doing my thing, then my man gonna come along because I don't know what's in the waters. Like I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the problem is. And I've been told it's not me. So that's that. And yeah. I've been praying and I'm tired of holding up the prayer line for that. And on top of that, yeah, let me just keep going. Cause I could just say that for another day. But I was gonna say is I'm just sick and tired of people asking me when I'm gonna have a baby. Like, how about you ask when I'm gonna get a man? I'd rather you be like, when you gonna find a man than when you gonna have a baby, because I gotta get the man first. But anyway, okay, so I went on live before I started to get some questions for Ask Misha, and someone asked me some really good questions. So let's see which one I want to do today. So this was a male, and his question was, why wasn't men taught on what to expect from a woman, but taught how to treat a woman? So, for me, I originally started off by saying this disclaimer that I wish I had a male guest on the show to share his perspective on this, because I'm not a man. So I can't speak from a male side of things. But I think from a woman side of things that when young men don't have a positive male figure in their life, that's when stuff like this become an issue. Because I feel like if you did have a male in your life, a positive male in your life, then this is something that he would make sure that you would know. Also, I just think that when men are raised, don't shoot me, are raised by a single mother, everybody's situation is different, but she may be working a lot. And so she's not able to be at home to really give those lessons and have those conversations with you during that time while she's really working and grinding. And so I feel like that's kind of how maybe the conversation is not had, is because mom was doing the best that she could, and she's not a man, so she can't tell you from a male perspective what to expect from women. And I feel like I just think that every woman is different, so that's that. So you really can't have expectations, in my opinion, about women, because every woman is different. Everyone has their own needs and wants, and everyone is unique. And it also depends on like what period of life you met that woman in. So then that goes into play of what you can expect for somebody, because I just feel like a woman in her early 20s is not the same as a woman in her early 30s. So it's just like you would expect different things from those different people because they're in two different places in our life. And so I just feel like that's good that men are being taught how to treat a woman. But I think that a part of the conversation is lost on, okay, so even though you treat her like this, she may not receive it well because of something that she went through in her upbringing. And you gotta you gotta give her grace and give her understanding as well, because she don't have all of the answers. She don't have everything figured out. She's not going to be perfect. And just like you have your flaws, she's going to have her flaws. And I just think that I just think that men shouldn't have put these big expectations on, a woman should da 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 blah 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 blah, because just like you wouldn't want a woman to have all these expectations on you, I don't think that you should have expectations on what a woman. I think you should have your preferences. I think that you should have you should know um what you will and what you will not put up with. I think you should have like know your boundaries and everything. But walking into any situation having expectations kind of leads you in a space for disappointment, I would say. But I hope I'm not going too far left and I answered your question. But yeah, so let me know what y'all think about that. The question was, why wasn't men taught on what to expect from a woman, but taught how to treat a woman? So yeah, that's it. All right, so it's time to say goodbye and wrap up this episode. And y'all already know I have to remind you to stay in your lane. And today I wanted to remind you that sometimes there's good news in the bad news. There is good news about bad news, okay? So in church, maybe 2 Sundays ago, or maybe last Sunday, one of them, pastor was talking about this, right? And so it really resonated with me because I be feeling so down sometimes about when things don't go the way that I thought it would. And so he really reminded me that suffering is a part of life. And, bad things are going to happen, but they don't last always. And we have to remember that after the storm, there will be sunshine. And so he also helped me remember that God used the things that was supposed to bring me down to lift me up. And that really resonated with me because I just be feeling like it be so much stuff piled on top of each other and it becomes very overwhelming for me, and I shut down and I just tune everything and everybody out, and I'm working on that and that's why I definitely feel like I need to start back going to therapy, because I see me getting back into that bubble and shutting the world out, and I can't do that. I have to face my fears. I have to continue to show up even though everything is not really going according to what I thought things were going to go. Um and so pastor also mentioned that things do look bad, but hold on to hope. And so that's all I've been doing, is just being faithful and just sticking to my prayers and my keeping that relationship with God and keeping hope, because he has shown out for me, and I just know that at the end of all of this something great is going to come out of it. um and yeah, so the last thing that I wanted to mention with this is that stuck out with me the most is that my bad news can be used to give others good news and hope. So, me sharing the bad things that happened to me and me sharing my experiences, hopefully in turn, helps you all and gives you all hope that, tomorrow is a new day, and every day that God gives us is another chance to become better. And that's all that we can that's all that we can really look forward to, is yet another chance. And every chance that you get, I just think that you need to take advantage of it. And it might be hard some days. Some days you might just barely roll out of bed, but you still did it. And maybe tomorrow you'll feel a little bit better. And if not, it's okay. Just keep taking it one step at a time until you start waking up and every day is a little bit more easier and a little bit more freer to walk through whatever it is that you're going through. So, all right, y'all, that was our 100th episode. If you like this episode, please give me a thumbs up, turn on your post notifications, follow on Instagram, Emmeisha and underscore in our lane. What else? Make sure you subscribe and comment. Make sure you send me your questions for Ask Misha and share. Tell a friend and tell a friend about the show. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.